Welcome to Code Slate. In this lesson, we'll see how to use fragments in Thymeleaf templates. Fragments are mainly used for reusing the code. So fragment represents a piece of template that can be included in other templates. It could be a header, menu, footer, or any other part of the document. So if you want to reuse on any pages. So fragments can also be parameterized, where we can pass the parameters to the fragments, and then based on the parameters we can display the fragments. So let's start with a footer fragment, which I'll use in all the pages in our application. Let's start with basic content. Before that, I'll define a fragment called footer, which we'll use in our index. Okay, let me start creating the fragment for footer. So I'll use this. It can be in a same file, or it's better to have in a separate file. So I'll create a parts as an or I'll use so this will be our fragments file. I'll create a small fragment. I'll copy the so here I'll create fragments. My fragment will be footer. I'll just copy my footer. So this is my footer. So we need to define the fragment using special keyword called th:_fragment. This is an attribute to define the fragments. So this is a fragment we are going to use in the index.html. I'll just save. So this is my fragments. It's a footer, and I'll go to I'll have the body, say header. Alias div. So I'll use the fragments here. So there are different ways we'll learn how to use fragments. This is the name we have given to the fragment. If you see here, so we have fragments, and this is a footer, which is the name of the fragment we use defined in the fragments.html. So let's save and then run. See how this will be replaced. So we'll replace this footer fragment with the contents in the fragments file. Okay. Yeah. So this will be replaced by fragments here. Okay. Let's run the application. So if you see, we have created a footer fragment which is replaced in index.html by the replace command of the fragment. So we use the replace fragment with the name. This is the file name, and this is the footer, the fragment which we are replacing. So in this way we can replace the fragments. So there are three ways to include the contents from the fragment. That can be using insert, using replace, using include. Let's see what is the difference between all these three. Let's format. So there are three ways. One is replace. So we'll see replace, insert, sorry, I'm not change this one, include. So these are the different ways to include content from fragments. So insert the specified fragments, and replace the whole host tag with the specified fragment. Include attribute similar to the insert, but it inserts only the contents of specified fragment. So we'll see that in a minute. So let me save, and we'll see the differences of these three. I'll just run. Let's go back to my application. I'll just reload. So now we'll see the difference between these three. If you see the difference, so this is insert. So insert is like the whole footer is inserted here. So whole footer, this is our fragment which is inserted, and whereas the replace a whole host tag with the specified fragment. So the div is replaced by the footer. You see there is no div here. So this is replaced by the footer. So whereas include is similar to the insert, but it inserts only the contents of specified fragment. So there is no footer here. If you see, there is only div. So when compared to the first one, so it is whole footer, and inside footer this is a fragment. Our fragment is footer plus div, but here when you say include, it only includes the div part of the footer. So this is the difference between insert, replace, and include fragments. So we'll add some more fragments. I have coded. So let me add fragments for so I'll just replace the fragment. I'll add fragments for the header and navbar. So we can go back to my application. So I made a mistake here. It should be div here. Then it's not div here. So I'll replace this header part with my fragment. Header. So here I'll insert the header from the fragments. That's it. This is a header from the fragment, and we'll replace the navbar. So we are including the navbar fragments, header fragments, navbar fragments, and we'll have a contents. If you see here, I have just remove, we'll use only one. Let it be there. So I have three fragments inserted here. One is header, other is navbar, and the footer. This is a typical example. So in each page, we need not define the footers again and again. So all the pages will reuse the fragments which are defined, like footer, header, or the navbar. So that is defined here, and we are using the different page. I have only one page here, index page, but it can be used across all the pages. So let's reload this page. So we have replaced the header, we have replaced the navigation bar, and we kept the page contents, and then we have inserted so these all three can come from the fragments, but only the content of the page can remain in the page file. So this is how the fragments work, and we also can send parameters. Fragment can accept the parameterized fragments, where we can specify the input parameters and then use that input parameters in fragment, and then we can customize that fragment. So yeah, this is all about the fragments we have learned today. Thanks for watching. See you in the next lesson.